Hey, I'm Bex from the Tiny Fibre Studio podcast, and today I want to share with you 5 top tips on how to destash your craft supplies. Tip number 1 is get everything in one place. It's really important that if you're trying to get rid of stuff, that you see everything that you have in one place. If you don't, your brain will just forget that it's there, won't have to make the decisions. Go through everything, everywhere you normally keep stuff, even projects that you've had planned but maybe haven't actually done anything with, or you've stalled partway through. Go through everything, collect everything in one place. To make this slightly less overwhelming, I would suggest that if you have multiple crafts that you do, then just get the supplies for one craft at a time, get them all in one place and deal with them one by one. Tip number 2 is forgive yourself for the fact that your tastes have changed. We're all human, our tastes change, that's fine. There will be things that you were interested in when you were a child that you are no longer interested in. That is perfectly normal. It's the same for us as crafters. When we first get interested in something, we go out and we buy all the supplies, and we might eventually find that actually those supplies we bought when we were new to a craft are not necessarily what we would use 5-10 years down the line. Don't keep something just because you feel guilty for having bought it in the first place. There will be somebody else out there whose taste will incorporate that object. So keep that in mind while you're destashing. Tip number 3 is the KonMari method question, which is, does it spark joy? If you hold an item of your stash, ask yourself, does it spark joy? If it does, that's great. You should probably keep it. If it doesn't, it needs to go. That's the first question that I use to filter the stash that I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. Tip number 4 is the second question that I use when I'm filtering through my stash. And that is, if I were to lose everything, is this item something that I would specifically choose to replace? That's really helped me in situations where maybe it does spark joy, but I'm not convinced that I will ever use it. And it might have had some sentimental value, but actually the sentimental value is not really that strong anymore. If you think about a situation like, a fire, a flood, catastrophic events, if that had happened to you, is this item something that you would choose to replace? If it is, obviously keep it. If not, get rid of it. And while we're on that subject, ignore whether this item is a limited edition, something that's discontinued, any of that kind of stuff, hand-dyed, hand-spun, any of that. It doesn't matter. Just think about it as if that item was replaceable. Tip number 5 is, once you've decided that you're going to get rid of something, get rid of it as quickly as possible. Do not allow it to hang around in your house. Otherwise, at some stage, it will get re-amalgamated into your craft supplies. And that's not what you want. You've made this decision, you've gone through this process, you've chosen not to keep this item. Get rid of it, send it on its way as quickly as you can. Either sell it or donate it. Give it to a friend who might be interested in taking up the same craft. Look for local community projects, etc., but get rid of it. That item is done in your life. It has served its purpose. It's going to go on its way to somewhere else. So I hope those tips and tricks have been useful for you. If you found this video useful, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you enjoyed it. And also feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know how your destashing process went.